And welcome to another very special episode of The Breakdown, X's and O's, and we're not talking hugs and kisses, ladies and gentlemen, because today we have actually some exciting news to share, and I pulled the numbers so you don't have to, so you better listen to what we have to say, because in the first segment of the show, we're going to talk about numbers, wide receiver markets, people missing mandatory mini camps, some big names, so please stay tuned because that's going to happen very first on the show.
Yes.
But let me give him the right introduction because the man to my right is the 5-year NFL vet, the man who played for several teams in the NFL and was pretty well known for some of them. So, might I introduce, he's the man, the myth, the legend, the man I like to call Nate Nessy, but you can call him Nate Ness over to my right over here. He is my NFL DB bigger brother, I like to say. Now, Nate,
Yeah.
can I ask you why Bowser is behind you?
You know, I'm in a peaceful place to record. That's a nice little Bowser. You see how Bowser? You see Bowser? You see it? Do you see it?
Have you seen the newer Mario movie?
No, I have not.
Oh, Nate, you got to watch it, man. Jack Black is literally Bowser and he sings about peaches.
Are you serious?
Peaches. Rob asked why you wearing a Met hat.
Rob, I couldn't find my New York hat, so you gotta forgive me.
Oh, you Yankees, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a Yankee fan.
Yeah, my mom's a big Yankee fan. She just like Derek Jeter. She don't really care much anymore, but she liked Derek Jeter. That was her thing.
Derek Jeter is arguably, I think he's top 3 greatest Yankees of all time, Yankee player of all time.
Who we thinking? Babe Ruth's up there.
Babe is one.
Babe's got to be one. Yeah.
I put Jeter 2.
Who's 3?
You know what? It's kind of hard.
Let me look up top. Wait. I don't want to get off topic, but
because I think Mariano Rivera, he deserves to be up there. You know, who you got?
Oh, they say Lou Gehrig for the Yankees. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And apparently Mickey Mantle played for the Yankees as well. Oh, he played his entire 18-year career with the Yankees. Why am I just now knowing that?
It's hard.
Golly.
It's hard. Mickey Mantle, Lou Gehrig, Mariano
Rivera. I forgot about him.
Yogi Berra. Remember, I think Aaron Judge just broke Yogi Berra's single season record.
Okay, well, we got to put I might put Derek Jeter at 5, Nate, after hearing those other names. Rob said DiMaggio.
Oh, DiMaggio.
Nate, I don't know if Jeter's top 3 now.
The Yankee Mount Rushmore.
That was like
Yankee
a dynasty.
Mount Rushmore. I'm gonna tell you right now, the Yankee Mount Rushmore, in all honesty, it's hard. It's hard.
Nate, those guys we just named literally made the Yankees the Yankees. Oops. We would not be talking about the Yankees without those guys we just said before Jeter.
But we talk about Jeter. Jeter, how many rookies do you know are World Series MVPs? He's a 5-time champion. It's hard. If
I knew more about baseball, I would have an opinion on the subject.
We gotta ask people in the chat. We gotta ask people in the chat to talk to us. I just
don't have an opinion. I'm football. I don't really.
Other
than the Yankees. So, but let's get into let me ask you what's up. Go ahead. I'll tell you a couple things that I found out today. Tell me what's up. What's going on?
Oh, not much. Another beautiful day. Taco. It's Taco
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Oh man, had a great workout. Had a great day. Again, just blessed. And then before, I gotta say hello to my children. My newly high school graduate, my son Tyler. High honors, graduated with high honors.
Oh man,
And that's a blessing right there. I
that's
give God
high
all
honors too.
I give God all praise and glory because it's God that did this. It wasn't me or it wasn't his mom. It was God. His guidance and just the grace that He's shown on the family, and especially this young man I'm blessed to call my son. Wow. Um, Got to say hello to my other two babies, Nemo and Demi. Got to say hello to DQ. I love you. Um, the family, nieces, nephews, everybody's blessed, and moms, pops, mom, dad, bonus mom and dad, everybody's blessed. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that. Congratulations to Tyler, by the way, because that's a big deal to graduate with
And
not just
graduated with
regular honors, but
high
high
honor,
honors. That's a big deal because not many people get that honor.
and
Um,
that's, one of the things that, again, we talk about so much, my kids are the most important. My family is the most important aspect of my life, and I'm just being honest with you. My family, my kids are the most important aspect. And just to see this young man grow up and just to be a part of it. This is the picture. Remember, I sent this in the group chat. This is him right here. You know, I'm a proud father. Again, there's no athletic accomplishment that I have that can ever, overshadow my children. That's right there. That right there is one of the greatest aspects of me, and that's the best aspect of me. And I think, again, that's one of the things I love talking about with Bruce about is family. Talking to MJ and everybody, like, our family, about family. So yeah, but no, we talking about football right now. Let's go ahead. Let's get right into it.
well, I'd love to, but I want to say something just real quick before we get into it. It
Let's
won't take me
get
long
to it.
because, I got my new job. I'm serving now, so I meet a lot of people every
Congratulations.
day. Thank you. And I make some pretty good money. I wanted to get experience somewhere else and not really care about the money this summer, but something, God's trying to tell me something like, hey, I need the money for something. So I'm saving my money. I'm not really doing much with it. And I'm doing whatever. But I did meet someone today because I tell people like to come back and see me, but I'm only going to be here for the summer because I got to go back to Mississippi State University. Shout out. And I had some people be like, okay, well, what do you want to do? I asked them what they graduated for. This lady graduated from state. She said, well, I graduated from this, this, and this. And I said, oh, I'm going in communications. I do a sports podcast. I want to do sports. And she said, you want to be in sports? I said, yes, ma'am. What does that mean? That little side eye look you just gave me. What does that mean? And she said, oh, well, I'm actually the assistant athletic director for the University of South Carolina. And I was like, oh
Beautiful.
my gosh. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Gamecocks.
Gamecocks. And I was talking to her all about it. She said, telling me how to get my foot in the door, yada, yada, yada. She was at Ole Miss for 13 years. The enemy school is what she said, the enemy school, but that's the only school that she could kind of get her foot in the door with.
Hmm.
And because you got to take whatever you can get, man. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
if,
exactly.
working
And
for the
really, it's
enemy
like
or what.
it's about what you said. It's getting your foot in the door.
Hmm. Exactly. And so she took that opportunity, ran with it, and now she's the assistant athletic director. And what's so crazy about that is like being the AD for an SEC school is big, and she's one step below that. So I actually connected with her on LinkedIn. I told her I was going to message her about certain things, kind of get more because I can't really talk much because I have other tables to tend to and kind of cater to. So I mean, we could bring her on the show, honestly. I didn't really tell her much about the show, but if we want to bring her on the show for 1 week,
I think
we
that would be a
can.
great opportunity. I think that would be a great opportunity for us to again, talk to her about football, talk to her about life. Really, more so less. It's not even sports, and it's more so less the aspect of life. So
Hmm.
if we can get that, let's get that.
I'll try. Like, how do we
Okay.
tie in sports that we want to make our life, that you made your life for so many years, into your family life now, and how do we kind of mesh those two lives together without having a firewall in between the two? Because I feel like a lot of people, it's just a firewall, right? They
Hmm.
have their sports life and then they have their family life, but there's never really an indication, or there's never really a science or anything to tell us how do we mesh those two together. Like, how do we have a happy marriage between the two? Because a lot of times it just doesn't work out. So it'd be nice to see how she kind of
Gotcha.
tells us about that. But I know we got a lot to talk about. I don't want to talk too much, but just want to say that a little bit. And because I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool opportunity that I
I
had.
think it was a
So
great opportunity.
we'll see what she says. I got her on LinkedIn. And let me introduce the first segment of the show. It's going to be Nate's Necessary Notes. So today we actually have, Nate and I kind of text before we start the show, like, hey, what are we going to talk about? And I kind of got to go through my head on what we need to talk about, how I'm going to organize it in the show. And he said, we have to talk about the mandatory mini camps. And I'm like, okay, well, what do we talk about it about? There's a lot of stuff that's going on. Aaron Rodgers isn't showing up. Robert Sella just like kind of described it as an unexcused absence, even though Aaron Rodgers like, hey, I have this coming up. And he's been actually participating with just about everything that's not mandatory with the Jets this past season to kind of get involved because it's ever since his Achilles tear. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We have I want to pick out some superstar wide receivers. Now, I have 4 wide receivers written down that I did text you earlier. We
Yeah.
need to talk about them because right now, all 4 of them are subject to fine because none of them are attending the mini camps. And these mini
Okay.
camps are called mandatory for a reason. You have
Yes.
to show up. This is not a voluntary thing. You need to show up for these mini camps to see how this season will go, to see how you're going to go with the new team and whatnot. And the reason they're not showing up is obviously their contract. They haven't had contract negotiations, and now they're subject to fine. So let's start off one by one. I kind of want to pick and choose, and we'll start off with CD Lamb, and then start off with the dude you mentioned earlier.
Well, kind of. Let's talk about what. Well, name all of the 4 that you have right now. Let's go by one by.
Okay, yeah. I have CD Lamb, Amari
Hmm.
Cooper, Brandon Ayuk, and T. Higgins as the 4 wide receivers I want to talk about. I kind of picked out these. They're superstar. I would call them at least star, but I feel like all of these are superstar, especially Amari Cooper for the Browns that second half of the season. He was very good
Second
for
half of
them.
the season,
He
he
was
was
on top.
ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Amari Cooper was ridiculous.
So we can start off with CD Lamb. I kind of have them written in order, so it's easier for me to read. And I put CD Lamb first because the Cowboys have been a topic, especially in contract negotiations, for a quite a long time. And so CD Lamb's just on the top of the totem pole for me. I kind of have a couple numbers to go with it. He's not showing up because now it's kind of, and you can attest to this too, when you have somebody big in your franchise and you kind of put them on a 5th-year option instead of negotiating contracts with them to see how much longer they're going to stay and play for your team. It's kind of a slap to the face. It's disrespectful to the player because, hey, I don't know if I'm getting paid further. I kind of want to stay in the team that I've developed chemistry with all these years with all the players around me. And now I don't know if that's a possibility because you're kind of pushing me under the rug, ignoring me by giving me a 5th-year option and postponing what we need to be talking about, the pressing matters like a contract to keep me here. And for CD Lamb, it's in Dallas. So he's for 2024, he's on a 5th-year option worth $18 million. What does it mean for CD Lamb in Dallas? Are they going to try to keep CD Lamb, especially with Dak Prescott on the final year of his contract? What are they doing in Dallas? What does this mean for CD Lamb, Nate? Go ahead. I know you don't like the Cowboys, which is why I put them first.
Well, we're gonna throw out my disdain for the Cowboys. But before I get started, I do want to send we got to send prayers and love for Larry Allen, the one of the
You're right.
greatest to ever do, one of the greatest tackles, one of the greatest, the most freakishly athletic tackle to play in the NFL. Send greetings to his family, love and prayers for his family. I actually went to elementary school with one of his nephews, Brandon Jefferson. Um,
Oh
but
my
with
gosh,
CD
you just know
Lamb,
everybody.
huh?
You just know everybody.
But with CD Lamb, it's a tough one for the Cowboys because you have Dak and you have CD, and then you have Micah Parsons is coming right up after that. Um, you're not going to be able to keep everybody. And the thing about it is, with CD Lamb in particular, first team All Pro last year, second team All Pro the year before. I think he led the league this year in receiving yards and whatnot. So he wants to get that Jay Jetta's money. He wants to get that Justin Jefferson money, that
And what
35,
is that, Nate?
and that's 35 a year annually. And the one thing about the receiver market and the receiver market in any market, whether it's receiver, running back, tackle, quarterback, defensive lineman, linebacker, safety, DB, corner, the market is always going to be reset by somebody having a great year, and they're going to demand top dollar and top market money. We're CD Lamb, my opinion, Justin Jefferson, my top five receivers in the league, my top five.
Now we're
Tyree,
going based off like last season or just
no,
like kind of
we
recent.
recent, top five for me. What I've seen again, Reek, Jay Jettas, Devontae Adams. I love Cooper Kupp because he runs great routes. I love Stephon Diggs. Same thing with Stephon Diggs. But so many good quality receivers. CD Lamb, he produced big numbers, but I can't really say what did he produce in the playoffs. You know, he deserves his money, yes, because he put amazing numbers. I think he broke the Cowboys single season receiving record. And
And
again,
that's crazy
yeah, that's
if we
crazy.
think about it.
And he's young, he's fifth year option. Again, making about 18 million, as you said, that's good money. But yet, when you see what these other receivers are making, and if I'm not mistaken, him and Justin Jefferson are the same draft class, are they not?
I think they played the same amount of seasons, yes, because they both had this. I want to say they both had the same amount of Pro Bowls, and Jay Jettis just has one more All Pro than CD Lamb.
Yeah, but the thing
I don't
about it
think
is,
CD Lamb made an All Pro his rookie year.
I know, but that's the thing about it. Jay Jettison came in the league and took the league by storm. Um,
Well,
but
he
it's
had
a tough
to.
one. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one for all of these receivers. Um, it's a tough one for all these receivers. Again, everybody's looking to get paid. Everybody's looking to see what the next man got. And again, Justin Jefferson, he's a top shot. He's making. I think. Do you have the top five or the highest paid receivers? Do you have that up? Because
I
I have
can
it up
get
in
it
my.
up.
I know I got it right here. I have it right here. Um, if we're going to talk the highest paid receivers, Justin Jefferson at 35 a year annually, AJ Brown at 32 a year annually. Then you have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have Tyreek Hill with 30, Jalen Waddle with 28,
That's crazy.
28.25,
The same
uh,
team. The
two,
same
two,
team.
two, exactly. You
Right
have
next to each other.
Devontae Adams with 28, and you have Cooper Kupp with 26.7 annually. Now that rounds off your top highest paid receivers. But this goes back to what I said before. The market is always going to be reset because what you got to understand is Tyreek Hill has had amazing seasons. He's led the league in receiving the last 3 years and put up ridiculous numbers. If Tyreek Hill has another one of those years where he can literally, say, hypothetically speaking, top 2,000 yards, the receiver market is going to get reset again, just based off the value of the year, the stats that he just put up. It's tough.
Okay, well, you talked about like the market's resetting, of course, and you told me this is one person you want to talk about. We're on the topic of wide receivers. Somebody that was spectacular second half, especially last season, kind of helped Joe Flacco back in the groove after he was sitting on the couch eating potato chips, not knowing if he was going to play football the next week. Let's talk about Amari Cooper for the Browns. Now, I'll give you the numbers and you tell me what you think. He's going to get 20 million for the last year of his deal, and then he's going to be an unrestricted free agent.
Unrestricted.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need to, but one of the things we gotta talk about. is the fact that unrestricted, does that mean that the Browns will be able to put the franchise tag on him to try to, if he has a great year, to try to recoup, get some draft capital? Because you're not just going to let a receiver of Amari Cooper's status and his talent go. This man put up 1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns in the second half of the season. Like you said, he was a monster. He was the best receiver in the game the second half of the season.
I
You
don't
know,
disagree with that.
he was a
He
big
made
play
Joe
waiting to
Flacco
happen.
look good.
He was a big play waiting to happen. So does that mean we just literally do we just disregard that? Because it's what you have done for me lately with the NFL. You know, so he deserves to get paid because of what he did. And the fact that he didn't have the quote unquote the franchise quarterback Deshaun Watson throwing him the ball, he deserves it. But again, do I think he deserves?
Oops.
Yeah, I mean he deserves to be paid, but is he going to get that 30 plus million? Somebody will, because he's still young and he's still producing. Somebody will, whether it's
Well,
Cleveland, it may not be Cleveland, but somebody will.
Amari Cooper's on. He'll be 30 before the season starts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's at that age like, hey, what do we want to do here? Do we want to extend him? How much longer or how much longer can we extend a wide receiver who is on that wrong side of 20? Like what will if Amari Cooper wants big money, he has to say, "Hey Cleveland, I am able to do this much longer." But he can't just say it, he's got to prove it.
Yeah,
And
you got to do it.
that has goes with attending the mini camps. And for people that don't attend mini camps, they think they're proving something by doing that. I
No,
guarantee you Cleveland would drop Amari Cooper. Because guess who they just acquired this past offseason? Guess who they just acquired from the Denver Broncos, Nate? Jerry Jeudy. Now,
Beauty.
with that in mind, they're thinking, hey, Jerry Jeudy was pretty much number one receiver, him or Cortland Sutton in Denver. Are they okay with letting Amari Cooper walk by bringing Jerry Jeudy in and having him be their number one wide receiver?
You let them test the market, just like Jack has said. You let them test the market. But the reality of it is, if you let him test the market and you're gonna play with fire, you're gonna play with house money. Are you really okay with saying that Jerry Jeudy is gonna be your number one receiver, or is that something you just live with? Is it something you live with? I want to know. Is it something that you test? You test that theory. You test that theory, or are you okay with Jerry Jeudy being your number one if you lose out on Amari Cooper? Or can
Why
you
else would
just sit
you
there,
acquire him?
or or unless you just go ahead and you sit there and say, okay, you sit down at the table and you say, you want a new contract? This is your last year of your deal. You show me what you got. You show me what you got. You if he puts up another season as of such that he did in this past year, or even better, the ball will be in his court where he can demand whatever it is that he wants. But at this rate, if I'm Amari Cooper, I want to play for something. I want to play for a title.
Well, we haven't really seen what Deshaun Watson can do for that Cleveland
Exactly.
franchise.
Again, that's the thing.
But I want to keep going because I don't want to spend too long on the Amari Cooper train because I got two more wide receivers I want to talk about, and I saved them last for a reason. And next is Brandon Ayuk, and I think it's safe to say that this guy is the number one wide receiver in San Fran. Now we've seen Debo Samuel; he's had injury, but I don't think Debo can touch Brandon Ayuk at this point. I think Brandon Ayuk has the number one receiver down in the bag. And let me give you some numbers because I put it on the ticker below. I'm going to start doing that just so people that log in can see what we're talking about. Brandon Ayuk's receiving $14 million this next season. So having Jay Jetta's contract extension in mind, obviously that's all his agents are going to be like, okay, how obviously he's not Justin Jefferson, but his agent's mindset is how close can we get to that $35 million a year? How much is Brandon Ayuk worth? So
let's look. Can I say something? Can we look at the guys that's underneath? Give me a yes or no. It better, just talent wise, is Brandon Ayuk better than this person? Okay. Justin Jefferson.
No.
AJ Brown.
No.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I'd put it close. I'd say they're close. It's close. They're comparable. Okay.
Tyreek Hill.
No.
He's better than Jalen Waddle?
Yeah, I think so.
Devontae Adams?
No.
Cooper Kupp?
No. I can't put them above Cooper. But this is what's interesting. Now, the San Francisco 49ers, they offered Brandon Ayuk a 5-year extension where he would be making $26 million a year. Now, that would have ranked him 8th in wide receivers. He would have been the 8th highest paid wide receiver, but he declined it, which makes me think that he's wanting more money or he's going to go elsewhere. If he declined $26 million, making him the 8th highest paid wide receiver, when Amon-Ra St. Brown, who we just said was comparable, is the 3rd highest paid wide receiver, how much more money can Brandon Ayuk get from the San Francisco 49ers?
I don't know, because again, unless San Fran's going to
I'd say he might be better than Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams getting old, but Devontae Adams still a dog. He's probably got the best hands in the league.
I'm not going to sit here and say he's better than Tyreek, because again, no, I can't say he's better than Tyreek. I can't say he's better than Devontae, because Devontae runs the best routes. Devontae is a route runner. He's a receiver. San Fran is in a bind already. Okay, somebody's going to have to take a pay cut or restructure a deal just so you can free up some cash for you to sign a Brandon Ayuk. You know, you just re-up. You just gave Christian McCaffrey an extension, 2 years, $38 million, $19 million annually, and he's worth every penny and worth every penny. Yeah, Joey Bosa, or excuse me, is that Joey Bosa? Or is that Nick Bosa? Nick Bosa, excuse me. Not to mention, you're going to have to pay Brock Purdy in a little bit.
Exactly, that's what I was about to bring up.
You're going to have to pay Brock Purdy in a little bit. This is one of the things that's hard about being a GM, because you have to figure out, again, how to keep your team. You're not going to be able to keep the same team together, because somebody's going to want some more money, and they're going to be able to be enticed by the fact that another team could give them more money. But you got to figure out how can you build off the current nucleus and the current foundation that you have.
Well, how much longer can they go before they have to sign somebody like Purdy? Because you got to sign your quarterback. You got to have your quarterback there. Is Brock Purdy going to be the answer for the 49ers in the future? And I think so. I think he has to be.
He has to be. We've seen what he's done with this team. We've seen what he's done with this offense, and the pairing of him and Kyle Shanahan, and the play calling and the running game with Christian McCaffrey, not to mention the weapons that are around him. Kyle Juszczyk, things that Adams is the best route runner in the NFL. Kyle Juszczyk, Deebo Samuel, Kittle.
They got some
that
good
offense is that they have good offense, or excuse me, good weapons on their offense, but you got to pay everybody, and it's going to be hard to pay everybody. It's going to be hard to pay everybody. On top of that, again, let's see how this year goes for the San Francisco 49ers. We don't want Brock Purdy to have a Super Bowl hangover, this team to have a Super Bowl hangover, because whether we want to admit it or not, that NFC West, it's loaded and it's stacked. San Fran is a great team, but LA is coming. Say what you want. The Rams, they're a team that competes. Same thing with the Arizona Cardinals. Well, no, not the Cardinals. You got the Rams, the Seahawks. Again, that NFC West is a very competitive division.
Well, I kind of want to wrap it up with the wide receivers because I don't want to spend too long so we can talk about the other topics on the show. And then I saved this one for last because I think it's the most interesting for sure. All these other guys have contract negotiations, but one's got a fifth-year option, one's on the final year of his deal, and T. Higgins is different from the rest of these guys
Oh yeah,
because
T. Higgins is a
he
pure
had
one.
a
He's a one. He's a
he had
one.
a franchise tag placed on him. Now, keep in mind, they still have Jamar Chase, who has 2 years left of his deal. He's awaiting a contract extension, negotiation type, something, some conversation to say, hey, we still want you in Cincinnati. But T. Higgins, who is their second man, who they still want in Cincinnati because he's been very productive for them. I think he's probably the best number 2 wide receiver, him or Jalen Waddle. I think I would either one. I might put Jalen Waddle above him, but either or, he's yet to sign this franchise tag that's been placed on him for the 2024 NFL season. This is worth $21.8 million, which is more than any wide receiver on this list so far. He's getting paid more than all of them. But of course, he requested a trade before that franchise tag was placed. So obviously, he's not happy with the situation in Cincinnati. And I want to know what's going through T. Higgins' mind. Why is this a thing? Is he just unhappy in Cincinnati? Do you think there's another team that's willing to pay T. Higgins? Does he think he's number 1 wide receiver somewhere else? Let me know, Nate. What's going on?
He is a number 1 wide receiver somewhere else. He's a number 1 wide receiver. This is just pure business. This is a business move in itself. We know that Cincinnati, their number 1 wide receiver is Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is their one. But T. Higgins is the best. Like, you know what? Jamar Chase is Batman. T. Higgins is Robin. But T. Higgins, he's Batman on somebody else's team. And this is one of those moves where he wants the opportunity to, you know what, be the focal point, be the number 1 wide receiver. He's put up great numbers. As a number 2, he's put up really solid numbers. And this is just business. He wants the opportunity to be the guy, and this is the business aspect of the NFL. Again, you can't keep everybody. You can't keep everybody. And if there's a team out there, that franchise tag is 21.8, as you said. If there's a team out there that says, hey, listen, we'll make you a number 1. We'll pay you market value, 30+ million a year, because we see what you can do. Oh, come on now. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but math is my favorite. 30 is higher than 21.
I agree. And T. Higgins, are we seeing T. Higgins? You said Batman and Robin. Are we seeing T. Higgins become Nightwing? Is this what we're seeing?
Yes, that's what we're saying.
Because obviously that's his only choice at this point. If Cincinnati, and the only way that I think that if T. Higgins stays, the only way to entice him and say, hey, look, we are the only team in the past 5 seasons that has been close to beating, and have not even close, they have beating Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. We are the only hope for the AFC. The only hope. And we can only do that with you, T. Higgins. And I think that's the only way they can entice him, with another championship run.
Yeah, they're the only team that has really been a consistent threat to the Kansas City Chiefs, the Cincinnati Bengals. Zach Taylor, Joe Burrow, they have been a threat to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Perfect. Well said. Well, let's see what this comment says before I move on. Oh, my dad said Dan Quinn's going to be coach of the year. Okay, we'll see what happens. But I do want to say that I don't know how I'm going to say it. Well, I'll say I don't know. I'm trying to do a perfect segue. Something about competing. If you want to have a non-competitive car insurance, because there's nothing that's better than what we have to provide for you, go ahead and call Jeff Tepney at Erie Insurance. And I'm sorry that it took so long to think of a segue, because sometimes we're just too enveloped in the football conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Here's to the grown-ups. Your car is now your office, stage, nursery. Sorry, Erie Insurance offers products that lots of other companies don't. That's a big deal, and it's a good deal, too. And with Erie, you get your own independent agent, not a giant corporate call center or some online robot. You meet with a real person, like this.
Your local Erie agent is Building Block Insurance Group. Get a quote today at 704-464-4544.
Erie Insurance.
And when you call Jeff or text me at 704-464-4544, go ahead and ask him how much money he can save you for this next upcoming 2024 NFL season. And I guarantee you it might be close to $21.8 million. You just have to go check. I mean, I just have numbers in front of me, so I really don't know the numbers. But go ahead and ask him because he might could save you just a little bit. Now, Nate, we talked a little bit before the show what you wanted to do for this next segment, and I didn't know how to make a segment on this. So let me go ahead and introduce the second segment of the show. Hope you brought your pool floaties, Nate, because it's swimming with the Loch Ness. And so we've seen the Damar Hamlin stuff. We've all seen it. People thought that he should have won Comeback Player of the Year because he literally just came back to the field. Didn't really start a snap, didn't really do much. I wasn't a big fan of him being Comeback Player of the Year because I feel like you kind of tarnish the significance that it has. I think Comeback Player of the Year should have gone and did go to Joe Flacco, which was a good move. The man was literally on his couch with his kids watching football before he came back and did what he did. So that was a good move on the NFL, although I didn't agree with MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. I think those were kind of bad choices because I thought there were better decisions. But hey, what's past is past. Congratulations to people that got the awards. And we know that Damar Hamlin suffered a cardiac arrest on the field, right? With the Cincinnati against the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow ended up playing 16 games that year. I think they did the math, and Joe Burrow has only played 2 full seasons since he's been drafted. 2 full seasons since he's been drafted, which is ridiculous to me. So we see he has a cardiac arrest, and then we see this happens to somebody similar named B.J. Thompson. Go ahead and tell me about B.J. Thompson, Nate.
B.J. Thompson, if I'm not mistaken, he was drafted last year in the 5th round of Kansas City Chiefs. And it came to that he had a seizure, and which seizure then became cardiac arrest. Now, we're not used to seeing things like this happening in the NFL. Because one thing that happens before the season is you have your before season physical, then you have your exit physical and whatnot. Now they put you through a lot of tests and so forth, but EKG, stress tests, and whatnot, so they can go ahead and see if there's anything, anything that's again not abnormal and so forth. So they pick these things up, but we're talking about players having cardiac, and these are young players, cardiac arrest and whatnot.
No history of heart.
No history. So one of the things you got to look at is that, okay, young players, no history, and you're doing your preseason physicals, your pre-training camp physicals, you're doing your exit physicals and whatnot. How is this possible that we're seeing cardiac arrest in such young men that are healthy and at their healthiest that they've been in their whole life? So now we got to look at the fact that the question arises that what are these guys putting in their bodies? There a lot of the stuff that they're putting in their bodies that literally are speeding up the heart rate, and again doing so much. It takes a lot to be a part and to make an NFL roster, and there's a lot of pressure. You want to make sure you're out there doing your best because you can't afford to have an off day or off practice, anything, because the man that's behind you, he's chopping at the bits for the opportunity. But now I think the NFL is going to have to look at the supplements and all the things that these young men are putting in their bodies, because there's no way that these young men who have been competitors and competed at a high level collegiately and in the NFL, that these guys should be going into cardiac arrest and whatnot. If you don't have a history of seizures or anything of that sort, heart-related issues, why is it that you're having them now? And this is
Well,
a serious matter.
if you let me, I'm gonna let you continue before we go off. I want to kind of give more history on BJ Thompson because it's been
Okay.
a big thing before you go off. And I apologize. I just want to say on Thursday night we're talking about cardiac arrest, so I want to give them people watching the history of what happened. Thursday night he was at Thursday afternoon he was at a special teams meeting. Now we know that when you are kind of unless you show something like spectacular, when you're kind of a late day 3 draft pick per se, you're usually on special teams, right? You're on that trying to get your opportunity to move up to something like offense or defense or what you specialize in. But usually they put you on special teams to see what you do. And sometimes there's people that stay on special teams for their entire career. We know somebody like Devin Hester and a Matthew Slater, two guys that are very, very big on special teams and who were very successful for their careers. But BJ Thompson Thursday had a cardiac arrest steering a special teams meeting, and that's kind of what we know. With no history of heart problems, and Nate's kind of going over, hey, how are these guys with no history of heart anything? I don't have a heart issue. My family doesn't have any heart issues. How are these guys suffering cardiac arrest when there's nothing in me or no history of me that says otherwise? Nate says, hey, they're putting these stuff in their bodies. Nate, I want to ask you, why is this happening? And I want to say, like, how do these injuries that happen on the field kind of translate to the ones off the field? Because we know DeMar Hamlin had one on the field, and we can really say now that BJ Thompson, although he was not in a high stress situation at all, like he wasn't down on a 3-point stance, down on the line, getting ready for a snap. He was simply in a meeting, and he had a seizure. What's up, Nate?
I mean, it's a question that's kind of hard to answer because we're seeing guys, again, if you've never had a history of seizures or anything health related and whatnot, and it just comes out of nowhere, you ponder in the back of your head because you have medical personnel that literally, put in the time and effort to give you preseason physicals and after season physicals just to make sure you're healthy, your body's, your organs, everything is functioning well, and that you're good. But now you gotta start eliminating things. And in the words of a rapper, Young Jeezy, he said, if it ain't adding up, you got to start subtracting. Now it's not that, but a lot of this stuff is not adding. It's not adding up. You've had high pressure situations in games. You've had games collegiately and again now in the NFL, and you didn't pass out. You didn't do this, that, and the other. You weren't even and the meeting. You've been in the meeting and you didn't have. It wasn't a high stress environment, and whatnot. The question now is, okay, well, what are these guys putting in their bodies? What supplements are being taken?
Well, although you told me before the show that these things are FDA approved, obviously there's stuff maybe that's coming out of this stuff that might not necessarily be FDA approved.
That's having a bad reaction in the body. So these are things that, again, I don't want to say that he put something in his body, or anything like that. No, I don't want to misconstrue anything. I just want to throw out there, why is this happening now?
Well, I want to say, like, you talk about people that are trying to get their opportunity, and we can take these guys and I don't want to make this assumption at all, but I kind of want to paint a picture. I want to set a scene and ask you this. I want to set the scenario. Like, we have these guys that are trying to get their opportunities. DeMar Hamlin came in for injured safety. BJ Thompson is a 5th round pick in special teams, obviously awaiting their time to shine, and they're putting stuff in their body that might not necessarily be regulated, that could be regulated, and we're seeing the side effects that come from it. And I want to say, Saints quarterback we drafted in 2023, Jake Haener, in the 4th round out of, I think, Fresno State. I can't remember. He ended up violating the PED policy. Why? Because he's trying his best to get an opportunity, and the only way he feels he can get there is by putting in performance enhancing drugs because he feels that his performance level is not at the level it should be to get that opportunity. I feel it's the same with DeMar. It's the same with BJ Thompson. They feel that their performance level is not at the Buffalo Bills standard, is not at the Kansas City Chiefs standards. So they're trying to put stuff in their bodies so that their bodies, not used to this foreign object, can get to that level of performance that the Bills and the Chiefs are used to.
It's hard when that's a hard question.
I'm not saying DeMar and BJ didn't put PEDs because obviously they passed their drug tests and physicals and stuff. Jake Hayner did. So, but I'm saying that it is similar. I feel that this is a similar scenario, which is why I pointed that out.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to make clear, yes, DeMar Hamlin or BJ Thompson were not putting performance-enhancing drugs in their system. Jake Hayner did, which is why he got suspended. What do you think, Nate? Is that a viable option?
It could
I don't want to
be.
make assumptions, but I kind of wanted to paint that picture.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could be. I mean, there are so many questions, but the biggest question is why now? Like, what's happening? What's changing now? I mean, what?
Look at this comment, Nate.
Okay, let me see.
Bronny James and BJ Thompson took the same thing. Now, if this is true, which it could be true because of the outcome, they both suffered cardiac arrest. We saw Bronny James not too long ago during the year suffer cardiac arrest. Nobody knowing, hey, why did Bronny James do this? We saw Bronny James at USC not performing at the level he was supposed to perform at a starter for college basketball, and he ended up trying, and in my mind, like I said earlier, get to that performance level that a D1 school is used to, especially being LeBron James's son. He felt all this pressure, had to take whatever it is that BJ Thompson and DeMar Hamlin are taking to become a starter for the University of Southern California, ended up getting cardiac arrest. Now, I could just be spewing out lies, but this is, look, I'm not good at math. Something ain't adding up. That's what my mom says. I don't need a rapper for that. And something is actually connecting here. The dots are connecting, and I'm starting to see a nice little constellation. Might as well call it the Big Dipper. And we're going to leave that there because it's a little past time. So let me go ahead and get it ready. Let me play the sound real quick. Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're going to get a little messy with Nate Ness today because today, if y'all haven't seen it, the Madden 25, and no, we're not talking about 25 years of Madden back when Adrian Peterson was on the cover. We're talking about Madden 25, the year 2025. The cover athlete has been revealed, and we said, hey, this guy's worth every single penny. Nate, have you seen the cover for Madden 25?
No, I haven't.
I'm going to pop it up on the screen right now. If y'all haven't seen it, excuse me. This is the Madden 25 cover with Christian McCaffrey on it. I kind of wanted like Aaron Donald or Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce on it, but Christian McCaffrey will do. I'm not upset with that because, Nate, we're going to be playing NCAA. Let's be for real.
Yeah, let's be real. I'm playing. We playing NCAA. I'm waiting for college to come out.
So, Nate, what do you think about this cover? It's kind of basic. I mean, it's him. The deluxe edition has him like juking out a bunch of Raiders defenders behind him.
I actually like it. I mean, it's a good action photo. Like, you know, is he's flexing after a touchdown or a big play?
It looks
I like
it.
I mean, you can tell he didn't miss arm day. I like it. I love run CMC. You know, I thought this year's cover of the Madden was going to be. I really thought it was going to be Aaron Donald. To be honest with you, Aaron Donald or the Kelce brothers. I thought it was going to be them. On the cover, but again, this is a solid, sweet cover.
I wouldn't have mind another duo cover with the Kelces.
Yeah,
like
that's what I said with the
Philadelphia, half Kansas City. I wouldn't have mind that. I think that would have been sick. But I feel like it could have been rushed. I don't know. I don't even know because Jason Kelce didn't announce his retirement until long.
I think if he would have announced it saying like, "Hey, at the beginning, this is gonna be my last year," I think they would have did something.
But this cover ain't too special. I mean, it's just an action photo. It ain't too special, but I feel like something like that they would have to whip up and create, and it takes some time.
What's your favorite Madden cover?
Well, I'm glad you said that because right now I have a list of all the Madden cover athletes, and I want a seasoned veteran like yourself of the game to go ahead and guess all the Madden cover athletes. And I'll go ahead and tell you my favorite cover. And it's only because of the significance I have with it. And when we get to it, I'll tell you it's my favorite. And I'll tell you the story behind it. Oh, Rob, this is your challenge for NCAA 25. Rob saying,
Let's go. We got it. When it comes out, I'm ready.
yeah, Kelsey with Taylor Swift.
Wow.
I think Tanner actually put Taylor Swift on the thumbnail of this episode. So if you see Taylor Swift on the cover of Madden 25, that is not mine doing. That is my brother. But we saw 25 was Christian McCaffrey. Nate, who's on 24? Don't you have the game?
Oh, I don't play Madden.
Oh, you don't play Madden? I thought you did. I played Madden. I literally played Madden last night. I'm a big franchise fiend.
No, who's on 23?
24.
No, who's on 24?
You don't know?
Because I know John Madden's on one of them because he passed away.
So Josh Allen's on 24. He's on Madden 24. It's like in the crowd of people, you know. It's like in the crowd of people like this. And 23 is.
Yeah.
23 is who, Nate?
That's got to be John Madden because that was the year he passed away, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is John Madden. Okay, 2022. We talked about the duo cover.
No, that was the year that Brady beat Mahomes, wasn't it? Was that the year Brady beat Mahomes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they're both on the cover.
Yeah.
21.
Who got MVP that year?
Oh man, you good.
Who got MVP that year?
I don't know, but if you get it, then you know.
No. First ever unanimous MVP. Because Tom Brady didn't get the unanimous MVP when he went 50-8. It was Lamar Jackson. I don't know.
You gotta admit that, like the whole point of that cover was to signify that he was the first ever unanimous MVP, and you got it on point. I don't know how you got it, but
that's like 2021. That year, remember Baltimore had a crazy year. Remember he had numbers out the butt.
Oh yeah,
and you really thought that Baltimore was going to win the whole thing because remember that year they had Lamar, they had Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram had a monster year. He had a really good solid year in Baltimore. They just had a great team, and he was the first unanimous MVP in history. And a lot of sports writers and so forth felt that it was crazy that Brady never got unanimous MVP, especially the year that he went 50-8 touchdown interception ratio, the year that Randy Moss had broke the touchdown record at 23, that he didn't get the unanimous. I think he got all but 1 or 2 votes for unanimous. So, I mean, yeah, that was crazy.
Well, who's on 20, Nate?
My homies, because I want to say they won the Super Bowl.
Yep. Okay, 2019. This is so
wild. This is about to get crazy. I do not know.
Well, once I tell you, it's going to be wild. It's the last year he was on this team. Antonio Brown on the Pittsburgh Steelers uni is on Madden 19.
That was probably one of the years that he went for like 1,800. Like that year.
I think it was his last.
Yeah,
good
when
year.
He went to that he crazy like remember he went to that 5 or 6 year stretch where he was getting between 1,600 and 1,800 yard seasons. Okay, so 18 then has to be Tom Brady.
You're right. 17
because he won MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
I'll give you a hint. You got this guy on speed dial. Speed dial.
Where'd he go to college at?
Arizona.
Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie. Okay, 16. You got to know this one, Nate. You got to know this.
16 was an iconic one. 16 was an iconic one because if I'm not mistaken, they tried to replicate. They couldn't replicate the catch, but they did one catch, and it was Odell. But they couldn't replicate.
They couldn't replicate it. I remember seeing that live, and I was probably like 10 or 11, probably like 10 years old. And when I saw that live, I was like, "Oh my gosh, there is no way that he just did that."
Yeah, he really did.
And it's so crazy to see that he's already like almost at retirement age.
Yep.
Now this next one is my favorite of all time. And
there's
nothing special to it.
I remember this one. So this is nothing. This is Sherm. This is my childhood friend.
Yes. Now yeah, you go.
That because that was the year that they lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah, on the freaking 2-yard line. But the reason this is my favorite is because the first console like I really got into besides the Wii was the PS3. In 1 year we got the PS3, we got Lego Marvel Superheroes and Madden 15. And we played the crap out of Madden 15. Our favorite team was the Packers. We had to pick like a middle ground. See, I was a Saints fan and my brother was a Redskins fan, but we couldn't pick either or. So my dad made us pick like a middle grounded team. And so we apparently just picked the Packers, which is why I kind of like the Packers. But that we put hours in that game. The PS3 was like the very first console I really got into. And so just the story and significance of it is why it's my favorite. So 15 is my favorite. Okay. Oh, well, I guess we could do Madden 25.
Wait, you got that thingy?
What? No, I'm talking about like the 25 anniversary edition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But actually, there's 2 cover athletes for it, which is interesting. I didn't know. It's due to the console you have. So I didn't know this. One's on Xbox and one's on PlayStation.
I'm not.
I told you. Okay, so Adrian Peterson was the PlayStation.
Oh,
yeah, I told you. And then 25 is an older athlete.
Barry Sanders?
Yes, Barry Sanders. Okay. I don't know how you got that because I did not even know.
You said older athlete, and I'm like, because it's not many defensive players that's on Madden, on the cover of Madden.
No, I don't know if there ever has been.
Richard Sherman is probably the one I can think of.
Richard Sherman.
I thought T.J. Watt was the cover of 1 year.
He might have been like a deluxe edition or something.
Okay.
You know they have like the deluxe editions and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, we're only going to go to 2000 because before 2000 it was just all one person. So 13, Nate. You got to know this one. 13. Think about the team you were on around 13, 14.
Calvin.
Yep. Calvin Johnson, Megatron was on 13. 12. Now, this is when the Madden curse really went into effect, was with 12. It's going to be, you might, this Madden cover has, you might not even get this one, Nate. This is crazy.
Gives him.
Peyton Hillis was on Madden
Cleveland.
12. He had that one like monster year.
Yeah, and they killed the Patriots in that one game. Okay.
11. You got to know this one. This is like one of the first like.
You said, but the first one was the
like good.
You said it was.
And I might be a little biased, but like it's because it was kind of going on to the next year.
Team.
Huh?
Team.
The New Orleans Saints.
Oh, Drew.
Yep. It's because it was kind of like going on to the next gen and like Xbox 360 and stuff.
I remember the one before then.
Who is it?
Cleanest Troy Polamalu and Larry Fitzgerald. That was the cleanest cover.
It is. I'm looking at it right now.
The cleanest cover. The cleanest cover.
It is clean. I'm looking at it. Okay, 09, which is weird because he didn't play for this team.
No, because that was supposed to be his last year in Green Bay.
Due to his contract.
That was supposed to be his last year in Green Bay, and he's supposed to retire. That's Brett Favre. 8 is Vince Young.
Dang, Nate, I would not.
Vince Young, okay. 7 was Buddy from Seattle because he rushed for 2,000 yards.
Yeah, who was MVP in 06?
Running
back from Seattle. You got it.
I know. I can't remember his name. Alexander.
Yeah.
The year before that, okay, then it was
Oh
Donovan McNabb.
six.
It was
Golly,
Donovan
you're going.
McNabb. Donovan McNabb, because Donovan McNabb, they went to the Super Bowl, lost to the Patriots.
Mhm.
Before that, we found, never mind, it was another defensive player.
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at it right now. Your memory serves you right. Who's 05?
Ray Lewis.
Uh-huh. Okay, now. 2004.
I ain't got nothing else now. I'm done.
2004. You got this one.
Who? Give me a team. Give me a team.
Atlanta Falcons.
Michael Vick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh three.
Give me a team.
MVP.
Give me a team.
The Rams.
It's either Kurt Warner's never been on Marshall Faulk.
Mm-hmm. I think he won MVP after 03.
Okay.
Wasn't it after 03? Or did he win it? When did he win MVP? I thought it was like 04 he won MVP.
Yeah, probably.
I think so. Okay, 2002.
Give me a team.
Minnesota Vikings. You're going to get it if I give you the team.
Randy Moss?
No.
Dante Culpepper.
Mm-hmm. Okay, 01.
I know this one because I had it. It was Eddie George.
Eddie George, and then
PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2.
2000, Nate.
I don't know.
The guy that's on every single one of them before 2000. The name of the game, Nate.
John Madden. John Madden.
Perfect. Okay, good. You got all of them. With a little help from your friends, but
yeah, I'm gonna take that.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's keep going. Let's go. We're done getting a little messy because we got to change our little inner Ricky Williams. Too bad he wasn't on the cover. He was too injury prone in New Orleans. Had to go to another team. I'm sorry, Ricky Williams. If you want to come on the show, I love you.
Let's go. Let's
But
get
this
to
whole
it.
segment, we channel our inner selves with you, Ricky Williams. So if you want to come on the show, just please let us know. It's new week, new chapter, Nate.
New week, new chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this is always the most exciting time. To be honest with you, for me,
that's why we saved it for last.
We talk football, but like this is the most exciting chapter or time and segment of the show is because it's the recharging moment. It's like getting ready for the week, and sometimes you never know. Like some people, everybody need a good word of encouragement. I know it's going to sound kind of weird, but my love language is words of affirmation. And I just, again, you love to build people up. You love to, say things that are inspiring and people can just use those words to, again, continue to fight the good fight. And again, that's one of the beautiful things I love about, spending time with God. And again, the word is active and living, sharper than any two-edged sword, again, and we as men and women, again, we don't know just again what we can do for our fellow brothers and sisters by just giving them a timely word, so again, this is one of my most favorite times, so let's go and let's get into today's word.
And love language doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. You can love somebody not in a romantic way. I don't think that was weird, Nate. I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay.
There you go. There's your. Let me take the banner off real quick. I'll put it back on for Rick Williams.
I was in the book of Psalms 2 days ago. And, again, reading Psalms 46, I think it's 11 or 12 verses. And this is always one that gets me. And it says, be still and know that I am God, and I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in all the earth. The beginning, be still. There's so many things that's going on in the world. So many fast moving pieces and particles and so forth, and objects and whatnot that's going on in the world. And we can sometimes, get so caught up in what's going on that we got to be still and just really just relax. We got to be still and breathe. Regain our composure in this thing called life, because again, you never know what the day is going to bring. You got to always be in a positive manner, and sometimes things can go and it can throw you into a loop and it can throw you out of whack. And again, you got to go ahead and reset. You got to recharge the battery and reset. And that means being still and knowing that, you know what, that God is in control. And sometimes the hardest thing is actually realizing, because we're so stuck on what we see in that moment, that we don't realize that, you know, no matter what's going on, God is going to always be in control of the path of our destiny, of everything involving us. So one of the things we got to always remember is that, hey, okay, this didn't go right today. You know, it didn't go right now, but I'm not going to allow this to dictate how the rest of my day goes. I'm not going to allow this to dictate, you know, my life and whatnot. Again, we grow and we move past things. We allow God to have his way with us because, you know, we learn God is talking to us, and sometimes experience is how he talks to us when we're sometimes stubborn and so caught up in the world and moving around so much, and we're not being still. Sometimes he has to force us to sit still. And it's not nothing bad. It's something that's beautiful, actually, because it says in the word, discipline is not always, you know, that fun, but discipline gets us going in the right direction. And those that discipline us, they discipline us because they love us and whatnot. No, I love us dearly. Just like, you know, somebody that's going to tell you the truth. It's not somebody that's going to tell you the truth because they want to be mean. The people that tell you the truth that means they love you and they care about the person, and they want to see you do good, you know. So that's the main thing, you know, being still and knowing that, you know what, no matter what's going on, God is in control. We're not in control of anything. God is going to be in control. He's going to guide us. He's going to lead us. He's going to provide everything we need according to his riches and glory. All we got to do is continue to stay faithful on the journey and continue to pray and rely on him, and he'll give us strength each day to persevere, to overcome, to remain optimistic, to be full of life, to be full of laughter, to be full of love and joy. He's going to give us all those things. So be still and know that God is in control.
Well, Nate, can I ask you something before we pray? Are you a big fishing guy? Have you fished before? Do you like to fish? I know you didn't grow up in like the South, but
no, but I mean, I like to fish.
Well, I kind of want to point this out because when I kind of typed it in the ticker. I'm gonna start doing that, just like typing stuff we talk about in the ticker. So I'll start doing the verse in the ticker. So when I take it off the screen, people can still read it. What's interesting about this is because we understand like the story of when Jesus, you know, all they weren't the apostles then, I don't think, but you know, they were all on the boat and he was like, hey, you know, cast your nets out for a catch. And like they got all the fish after like hours and hours of not catching anything. But what's so interesting is, to me, we only catch fish in still water. When our water is super, super bubbly or like we're making too much racket, we can't catch any fish.
They fly. They
God's
swim
trying
away.
to tell us. Yeah, I think what God's trying to tell us here is it's awesome because like your water has to be still to catch me. To catch God, to catch Jesus, we have to have still water. We have to be still. And that's what he's telling us. Like, we don't get the prize creating ruckus and being impatient. We get the prize being still, being patient. And we just might catch that 10 pound, 12 pound, 15 pound bass that we can put on that wall or maybe serve and eat at the end of the week. I just thought that was so cool. I just was typing it in and was like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. Like, be still. We can only catch the fish when we're still. And so we can only catch God when we're still. So take it away, Nate. I didn't want to take your light off of you, but I just thought that was cool. I wanted to point that out.
Close us out. No, close us out.
You want me to close us out?
Close us out. Close us out.
Okay, I'll close us out. You ready, Nate?
Yes, let's go.
All right. Dear Lord, I want to thank you for letting us come and fellowship today. And although we talk about sports, we really want to end it off so that we can come and talk about you. That's really what we're here for, to serve you. And if we can fulfill that mission you have for us to serve you, I think we're doing pretty good. And so I hope you watch over us as we continue to serve you and make sure we're just doing the right thing to get to that goal and accomplishment in our life. But I want to thank you today of letting us come here again and every week and giving us this opportunity, because without you we have nothing. Without you we have no strength, because apart from you we can do no things, but with you we can do all things. And I want to thank you for that. And so today we learned, like, we just need to be still for you, Lord. And the only way to be still is to be patient, to be kind. And when we're still, we just get that prize because we can't cause a ruckus, just like the apostles did that one day where they caught no fish. And then right when you came, Lord, and you told them, hey, cast your nets again, they caught it all. And we just, please, Lord, just help us learn that with you, we can catch it all. Apart from you, we can't, but with you, we can. So I pray that you just help us have that trust and that faith in you that we can catch the prize, because we don't want to ruin our purpose. Teach us our purpose, Lord. Teach us what we're supposed to do. Teach us the mission to serve you and help us fulfill that. I want to thank you again for letting me and Nate come on here. And I can't say it enough, but the opportunity to do this is important. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity I have to do this. And I know Nate is too. And so, Lord, for the next couple of weeks, just look over us, make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do when we serve you. And most importantly, make sure we're being still. And if we're not being still, tell us we're not, and give us a sign, because let us be still, let us be patient, let us be kind. And when we're like that, we can do all things. Until, Lord, that happens, I want to say it in your Son's perfect and holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, I think the song ended too. Sweet. That was good. That was a little good ending.
That was great.
You for letting
It was
me.
like right. It's like right at the moment.
Wow. Be still, Nate.
I got you.
You mean great segment. I do love this segment. It's kind of like the nice bow on the present. I love it. It's so great. It's good. But I'm gonna start putting them on the ticker, because I kind of like, I try to keep it there so people know like what we're talking about. Although a lot of people, don't want to come on here and listen to the preaching.
Yeah.
They want to come in here and listen to football. Whatever you want to do, that's fine. It's whatever. That's fine. But is there anything you want to say, Nate, before we end off this episode?
Nah, bro. Love you, man.
I love you too, Nate. And not in the romantical way. I mean, hey, I can give you some words of affirmation. You can be affirmed. You can be affirmed with me, Nate. But not in the romantical way. No homo. No homo. No Diddy. No Diddy. Well, Tanner kind of gets mad at me when he makes these thumbnails because I don't tell him. I like to wait until all the news comes out, the last moment. But I could honestly tell him the day before. But the Madden cover athlete didn't come out till today. So I really couldn't tell him until today. But I kind of just want to wait till that last minute so we get all the news we can. Because today, all the minicamp stuff was going around. And I would not have known half the numbers that I did unless I did the minicamp research. So, sometimes it takes me a little longer to do the streams, whatever. I apologize for that.
Also,
but we have to make sure that we get that news on the tee for everybody. So I know we gone a little over time. We'll be here next week. Just like always, be sure to tune in because, hey, we're not going to leave you. So don't leave us. It's going to be at 7 o'clock Central Time. And until then, I'm your co-host, Connor Davis. The man to my right is the man, the myth, the legend, the 5-year NFL vet. His name's Nate Ness, but I like to call him Nate Nessie. We'll be here next week, so tune in. And this has been The Breakdown, X's and O's. And we'll see you next week.